welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I'm so glad that you are here with me today. My name is Emily and I try to post weekly, whether it's what's for dinners, beading material, or marathon training. I signed up for my first marathon in October, so I'm really excited and also extremely nervous about that. Anyway, so I've been kind of slacking on my videos. I've been crazy busy. This is just a wild time of year. My youngest daughter is running around right here. Just a kind of a wild time of year for everyone. So I haven't posted much lately, but I'm gonna try to get back to my weekly schedules. I typically post 5 meals a week, but since I have been slacking, this week I'm gonna post 7 meals. Most of these are low carb. I have kind of incorporated carbs back into my diet, healthy carbs, like whole grains, fruits and vegetables, things like that, that on keto or low carb you typically try to avoid, but I don't think any of that is in this week's video, so that will come later. Just because I'm running a lot, training for my marathon, my body needs more carbs for me to have more energy. So this week's, they're pretty low carb, but in the following weeks you will see me incorporating some healthy carbs back into my diet, and it really has given me more energy in my running. So anyway, I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for watching. We're at 400 subscribers now. Woohoo! We're gonna celebrate that. That's super exciting. The next video that I post will be the bead tool tutorial video, and we're gonna be doing a giveaway with that video. So if you are here for beading material and you don't really care about my cooking, stay tuned for that because we do have some beading stuff coming up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy. Tonight's dinner was really simple. It's a sheet pan meal. So all I have are some fresh green beans, some whole grape tomatoes, and then I put some olive oil and seasoned them up a little bit. I also added some garlic, gave them a good zhuzh, and then moved them to the side. I added some pretty frozen still chicken thighs here, and I'm just trying to rearrange them on the plate, or not plate, on the pan. So I added some olive oil and then some of the Montreal chicken seasoning. They were really delicious. So then I popped this in a 400-degree oven for about 40 minutes. Once they came out, I squeezed a whole lemon on top of my chicken just to add some extra flavor. The skin on the chicken was really crispy. It was delicious. And then to my green beans and tomatoes, I added some blue cheese. That was awesome. I love adding blue cheese to my green beans. And then I added a little bit of barbecue sauce on top, and that was dinner for that night. It was awesome and very easy. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys kind of what a typical lunch looks like in my low carb day. So I had some leftover chicken from our chicken thighs last night. So I've got about a half cup here. I'm gonna add some of this chicken wing sauce. I also had this in my fridge. So everything that I'm using today I had on hand. I didn't go out and buy anything to do this. So I don't know how much that was, just a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of ranch. They don't have the Bolthouse Farms ranch dressing here at our local grocery store. So I'm just kind of using what I can get my hands on. I'm sure there are better options than the Food Club brand, but it is what it is. So I'm just gonna mix this around. If I had some blue cheese, I would add that too. But just to keep it simple, it's just chicken, buffalo sauce, and ranch. And then let me take you guys over to the stove and show you what I'm gonna do with it. So I've got my skillet preheated. It's on medium-high heat. I'm gonna spray it all over with cooking spray. This is just the vegetable oil cooking spray. Spray it pretty good. And then I just grated some sharp cheddar cheese. So I'm going to put it in my pan. Try to get it pretty even. I'm gonna do a great job there. Okay, and then you just want to let all this cheese melt. You're not gonna stir it or anything. Just let it all melt down. Okay, once it's gotten to this consistency, I'm gonna add in my buffalo chicken mix. I'm only gonna put it on half of this because I'm gonna be folding this over. You want to kind of break the sides loose. Zoom out a little bit so I can see this. Okay. And just gently try to get up under the cheese. Break it all loose. And then I'm just going to fold it over like so. And remove it to a plate. And then I'm gonna let this sit for a while just until everything kind of hardens. That's good. And then I'm gonna cut it and maybe dip it in some sour cream. So this is another lunch that I put together, and I had half of it for lunch this day, and then I took the other half to work with me the following day. It was even better the next day once it sat in the fridge overnight. Just a really good, simple, light lunch. It could even be a dinner. So all I did was add a can of whole black olives, and then I cut up a few grape tomatoes, I don't know, 7 or 8, however many I had left. And I added some hard salami. I always keep hard salami on hand when I'm trying to eat low carb. It's just a really simple snack or meal. Just cut those into smaller bites and put them in my bowl. I also added some pepperoni. I also keep that around at all times for snacks for myself, and my husband loves them as well. I sliced up some pepperoncinis. I love these. I could eat these whole, just like as a snack. They're really good. They have a lot of flavor. And then I cut up a little bit of mozzarella cheese just into bite-sized pieces. Added that to my bowl. And finished it off with some light Italian dressing from Olive Garden, which is my favorite dressing. Gave it a good zhuzh, and then I devoured half of that right off the bat. And then, like I said, took the other part for lunch. All right, dinner this night was absolutely amazing. My husband loved this. I believe this is called cowboy chicken. I found the recipe on Pinterest, so I will look it up and link it below for you. But it's jalapenos, onions, black-eyed peas, black beans, corn, diced tomatoes, and some diced chilies. And then I also added in a little bit of lime and garlic. I use half of an Italian dressing packet and just kind of mix all that up. I could have eaten it like that. It could have been a dip like that, really. But then I'm going to add some chicken tenderloins to this pan. And then you add the rest of the Italian dressing seasoning mix on top of your chicken. That just adds really good flavor. And then you pour that whole bowl of goodness on top of your chicken and bake it until your chicken is done. I think I did mine on 400 for about 40 or 45 minutes. And it did come out kind of juicy and runny, so I did pour some of those juices out. You'll see when you pull yours out that it'll have a little bit of juice in it. I am shredding cheese to put on top. I have stopped buying like pre-shredded cheese. It just has preservatives in it, and this cheese tastes so much better. So I've seen the shredders that like Mandy in the Making and all those fancy YouTubers use, and I need to get one. But for now, I just use this hand shredder. Then I'm going to chop up some cilantro. I don't cook with cilantro very often, but it does add some really good flavor to meals, so I need to start keeping it around. I'm just chopping this up and picking out the stems, which I think you can leave the stems in there. This was probably an extra step, but I had a little time, so I ended up picking the stems out and just chopping it up a little bit more as a topping. So here it is out of the oven. You can see it's a little bit watery, just those juices from the chicken. So I did end up draining that. And then I topped it with cheese and cilantro, and it was so good. And it was so much food. We had leftovers for a couple of days. All right, dinner this night. You'll get a kick out of the filming on this. I was trying to be funny. So we did chorizo and cream cheese stuffed jalapeno poppers, and they were awesome. I had never done that before. So I just cooked up some beef chorizo. It gets really, really greasy and makes a huge mess. So I always do it in a pan with a lid. So once that got cooked, I moved it over to a paper plate with a paper towel just to drain some of that grease. I added the cream cheese into the same pan so it would melt. It was a hot pan, and then added the chorizo on top of that. I just mashed it all together until it was nice and melted and delicious. I did take a bite of this. As usual, I'm constantly eating while I'm cooking, and it was delicious. So you guys have seen me make jalapeno poppers 1,000 times, so this is just a sped up version of me cutting the ends off of these jalapenos, scooping out the insides with my little scooper tool, and then stuffing them with that chorizo mixture and wrapping them in bacon. Pretty simple. We do poppers all the time, but this was a little twist on it. And you just cook these in the oven until your bacon is done. So I don't know, on 350, 375 for about 50 minutes, probably 50 to 55 minutes until your bacon's nice and crispy. Delish. For dinner tonight, I did a honey garlic chicken in the Instant Pot, and it was really good. I'm still not super comfortable using my Instant Pot, but I am getting a little more experience and practice with it. And this was one of the more elaborate meals that I have made, and it turned out really good. My husband and I both really enjoyed it. So all you do for the mixture is add honey, soy sauce, onion, ketchup, olive oil, garlic, and then you can season it however you would like. I did black pepper and garlic salt. And then you just stir it all together and make sure it's really combined. Break up all that ketchup, get it nice and smooth. This made my kitchen smell so good, just like a Chinese food restaurant, like just mouth-watering delicious. I could have eaten a big spoonful just like that. And I use chicken tenderloins. That's just what I had on hand. I'm sure you could use chicken breasts if you prefer, or even chicken thighs if you have those. So I just add my chicken tenderloins to the bottom of my Instant Pot. As many as I can fit in there, because that's how I roll. I seasoned them up with a little bit of that Montreal chicken seasoning. I love the Montreal seasonings. And then you pour the mixture right over the top of your chicken. Put the lid on. That's the most difficult part of this recipe, was trying to figure out how to put the lid on. Set to sealing, and then you cook it on high pressure for, I believe, 15 minutes. This is me trying to figure out how to work this. I still have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, yep, so for 15 minutes, we're gonna pressure cook it, set to sealing, whatever. And then I think I let it natural release for a couple of minutes. I'll put the recipe down below. This was a couple weeks ago, and then I vent it. So I normally don't do this, but I believe this is called a slurry. So I added a tablespoon of cornstarch to some water just to kind of thicken that sauce up to 2 teaspoons, 3 teaspoons. That look like teaspoons. So we'll do 3 teaspoons of cornstarch in this water, mix it up, and then I had removed my chicken to another plate and I poured this right into the sauce at the bottom of the Instant Pot and then stirred it all together, and it did thicken that sauce up. Then I'm gonna cut all my chicken up. I didn't remove the tenderloin part, like the weird piece of, whatever it is in there. What is it? A tenderloin, I guess. So I'm cutting those pieces out, and then I just add my chicken back into that thickened mixture. So good. That was my husband taking a piece off the plate. And then we just served this over some cauliflower rice in my super cute microwave here. I just microwaved that and added it to a bowl and topped it with this delicious chicken mixture. And for a little added effect, I had some sesame seed on hand and added that to the top. And it was awesome. We really loved it. Honey sriracha pork tenderloin in the crock pot with a little chicken broth, and just let it slow cook all day while I'm at work, and then it'll be ready when we get home tonight. All right, so I got home from work about 5:30, so this was in about 12 hours. It was ridiculously easy to shred, very, very tender. Had a lot of liquid left in it. So I dumped a bag of frozen broccoli. I seasoned it up with a little bit of that Montreal steak seasoning and put some fresh garlic in it. And I'm just gonna let this cook for probably another hour. I did turn it up to high just so that broccoli would soften. I should have steamed it or something before I put it in there, but I didn't, so I'm just gonna let it soften. And this is what's for dinner tonight. It tastes delicious. Honey sriracha pork tenderloin. Dinner tonight was awesome. It's another chicken meal. So it's guacamole, chicken, bacon, and cheese. So, I mean, where can you go wrong? So all I did for my guacamole, this is how I've always made it and how my mom makes it. So I've got 2 whole avocados that I just sliced up and put in a bowl. I also added some fresh garlic and some mayonnaise. And I know that sounds weird, but bear with me. It's really good. I season it up with a little bit of garlic powder, black pepper, and garlic salt. Those are always my go-to seasonings if you haven't learned yet. I always add some fresh lime juice to my guacamole. It keeps it from browning. So I added a whole lime or juice from a lime in there. And then I don't always do this, but I did it this time to just bulk it up. So I added some cherry tomatoes sliced up and some red or purple onion, whatever you want to call it. And then just mashed that up and mixed everything together until it was a nice guacamole consistency. And of course I had to sneak a bite. Yum. So here I'm just showing you that I fried some bacon in this pan, and then I'm cooking the chicken in the bacon grease just for extra flavor. I use these big chicken breasts. Fit as many in there as possible. That's how I do everything. I'm not really a 2-batch kind of gal. I did season these up with some of that Montreal chicken seasoning, and there they are finished. I just topped each one with some of that guacamole mixture. And then topped that with bacon, which I overdid the bacon a little bit. I know it's like extra crispy, but it's okay. We ate it anyway. And then I topped that with, I don't know if this is provolone or mozzarella. Either would be fine. But as you can see, I ran out of whatever it was and ended up having to use cheddar cheese on that last piece, which was still delicious. So we had this for dinner, and then we had enough left over for lunch the next day. And I just popped that in the oven until the cheese melted. All right, and that's all I have for you this week. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for next week's What's for Dinner and for the bead tool tutorial. Bye.